We're a little over a week away from the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA trade show in San Antonio. Now, you might be looking for some ideas to help pass the time between meetings. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Russell Nemitz shows us a one-of-a-kind saloon and museum that isn't far from the convention center.
For almost 140 years, the Buckhorn Saloon and Museum has been one of San Antonio's most well-known gathering places for fun, food, and drinks.
Well, the Buckhorn was established in 1881 by Albert Frederick. He was a 17-year-old bartender and bellhop at the Old Southern Hotel on Main Plaza. In 1881, he decided to open his own saloon across the street on Dolorosa Street. He called it the Buckhorn. This is the fifth location of the Saloon and Museum since 1881. We've been in this building for 21 years.
The first thing that catches your eye when you walk in the door are the hundreds of horns and antlers hanging from the walls and ceiling. Turns out, back in the day, the antlers were the currency folks used to buy a drink from owner Albert Frederick.
He was a hunter himself, so he brought some of his own trophies in to decorate with. Then his friends would say, I've got a big rack at home. He'd say, bring it in, I'll hang it up. When cowboys came in off the trail hot and thirsty from a cattle drive, didn't have much money for drinks, Albert would take a pair of shed antlers and trade for beer. That's why you see thousands of antlers hanging up around the columns and the archways. Those were all free beers since 1881. Then his wife Emily was collecting rattlesnake rattles. She said, any cowboy that brings me a jar full of rattles gets a free shot of whiskey. She collected over 32,000 rattles and made signs and artwork out of them, which you see throughout the museum, including a white-tailed deer picture that she made from 637 rattles of a white-tailed deer and gave to Teddy Roosevelt as a gift when he came here for the second time in 1906 as president. We got a lot of longhorn steers on display, full mounts and heads. We have the largest collection of non-typical horns and antlers in the world throughout the entire museum. Albert liked what they call atypical horns and antlers, so they're deformed in some way. So they're very unusual. Like I said, they're throughout the entire collection. We have the largest mass of horns on any animal in the world, which is the Angolan ox, which was Albert's prized possessions. And we have the 78-point buck, which is in the center of the bar, on the back bar over in the mirror. And old Tex right there, he was the world record longhorn at one time. His horns measure 8 feet 1 1/4 inches from tip to tip, but he's been beat out over the years. But when Albert was alive, every night when he closed up shop, he detached the horns and locked them in his safe. He didn't want anybody stealing the world record of longhorns.
In 2006, the Buckhorn Saloon and Museum expanded when the Texas Ranger Museum was added on to the attraction. Visitors will see hundreds of authentic Ranger artifacts, including antique revolvers, badges, photographs, and much more.
And then about 12 years ago, we added the Texas Ranger Museum, which is included in the ticket price now. That's got an entire Western street front built inside, a reproduction of Bonnie and Clyde's car, and Texas Ranger guns and memorabilia, which is all owned by the former Texas Rangers Association. And there were only like maybe a dozen Rangers in the beginning. And now today there are about 150 Texas Rangers, and they're the elite law enforcement of Texas. They're like the FBI here. They have jurisdiction in any county. They go in and take over cases that local sheriffs can't handle.
Located just 2 blocks from the Alamo and 1 block from the Riverwalk, the Buckhorn Saloon and Museum and Texas Ranger Museum has something for everyone. So grab a refreshing drink and stroll through the more than 40,000 square feet of exhibit space that highlights Texas history.
If you want to see the museum, you buy your tickets. You can purchase a drink on the way in and take it with you. You see more that way. And your ticket includes the Buckhorn Museum upstairs and the Texas Ranger Museum next door. I mean, it's a one-of-a-kind experience.
Reporting from San Antonio, Texas, I'm Russell Nemitz for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.